Recently, I had the privilege of planting 10 people's fall gardens as part of a personalized garden planting service I'm testing. And one problem kept surfacing over and over: planting carrots. This was a clear struggle because every one of them listed carrots as a top priority, yet many of them had been disappointed in prior attempts. I get it. I've had my struggles as well, and you may recall that my own fall carrot harvest was a huge failure last year after having many years of success. But I learned from my mistakes, as any gardener does, and I got back on the horse with a fantastic spring harvest. And since the fall carrot harvest is always the most tasty and rewarding, I want us to get it right. In my experience and observation, most gardeners who fail at growing carrots fail at one of 3 points. Let's talk about those so hopefully you can get a fantastic fall harvest as well. Number 1 is timing. Over and over, I've looked at the when to plant charts on carrots, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think those calculate planting carrot seeds too late in the season. 10 weeks before first fall frost is the typical recommended timing, but I have found that if I back it up to 12 weeks minimum, I get better harvests. This puts me at sowing my carrots at early to mid-August. Now, carrots are not frost tender, so the issue isn't frost, it's day length. Carrots need as much sun as they can get this time of year, so backing up your planting 1 to 2 weeks makes a bigger difference than you think. And bonus tip, plant your carrots in full sun in the fall. They'll need it to size up. I did a side-by-side test, and I have that video in the description if you're interested in it. But what I learned was how important full sun is for fall carrots. Number 2 is water. This is the most important tip, and in my observation, the biggest point of failures, especially in a fall garden. It is hot right now. Can you feel? I can feel my hair sticking to my neck even at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. It's hot. What that means is the soil is hot. Evaporation happens quickly. It's imperative to water often and keep that water contained as much as possible until the carrot sprouts have a few true leaves. To do this, take your planting area and deeply water before you ever plant. Saturate that soil beyond the top layer because the roots need that moisture as they go down. Then, after planting, water again, very gently. Carrot seeds are very small and carrot seedlings are very delicate in the beginning. The Garden in Minutes garden grids are perfect for this. They water gently and effectively. Finally, cover the soil with something that will prevent evaporation and keep the water in the soil. I prefer a floating row cover so that the early sprouts can get access to light right away. Plus, the white of the floating row cover reflects light. Some people use burlap or cardboard, but I really like using the floating row cover flat on the soil until most of the seeds have germinated. To prevent a greenhouse effect of the soil heating more, ask me how I know that this can happen, I will place it under the garden grid to make sure it has contact with the soil. Number 3 is thinning. This is the hardest part of growing carrots, thinning them. If you don't thin out your carrots where each carrot has 1 to 2 inches of growing space, they will compete and you won't get good roots. But thinning is tedious. So how can you minimize the waste and time involved? I found my favorite way is to use the Garden in Minutes garden grids as my plant spacing guide. I make 16 shallow divots in each square. Then I'll take a very small pinch of seeds and I will drop the seeds into each divot, barely covering them with soil. Carrot seeds are small, so they benefit from shallow planting. By limiting the seeds to just 16 divots, all I have to do is cut out the extras that germinate in only 16 spaces per square, not an entire row. This saves me so much time. At the end, I'll have 16 carrots per square, perfect plant spacing for good-sized carrots. That's it. Once we get to the point of thinning, carrots are pretty much on their own. And all you have to do is look forward to harvesting in a couple of months. For more on growing carrots, be sure to check out my carrot growing playlist here.